Hello and welcome to our Fast and Furious Watch-Along extravaganza. I'm going to be doing a full commentary on the entire feature-length experience that is Fast and the Furious. I will one day learn that muting is consistently a problem. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you get queued up. I don't know where this is streaming. I'm personally watching it on Blu-ray. I own all of these in Steelbook editions because I love this franchise oh so very much. So I'm going to be playing it from my Steelbook. I will hold it up at some point during this journey. This watch-along is brought to you by patron saint of watch-alongs, Mr. Michael McCarsell, who is in the chat right now. So if you're enjoying this live, thank Michael McCarsell for being so awesome and sponsoring watch-alongs for this very channel. It is one of my Patreon tiers. Testing, testing, testing. Is this working? Is this happening? It looks like it. I hope. Okay, I'm gonna rewind back to the Universal logo because it seems like we've got some progress here. I'm not sure what happened with the connection there, but that is the way of things. Let me see if I can rewind this without everything going horribly wrong. Okay, rewinding. We are now, it seems, back at it. Okay, we got the chat, we got Curtis Mason, we got Hold My Brick, we got Michael McCarsell. The gang is here from the first attempt at this stream. I am using a Steelbook Blu-ray, so if the timing's a little off, I do apologize. This movie is apparently on HBO Max. If you're just joining the stream, I apologize for whatever glitches. If you're watching this later, that must have been confusing. We're gonna restart back to 0-0. I'm on the Universal signal. I'm gonna count it down from 5, 4, 3, 2, Fast and Furious. Strap in. Dun, dun. That's where it should be at. That dun, dun of Universal. There we are. That's where we is. All right. Apologies about the tech issues, you lovelies. Let's do this thing. Fast and the Furious is a franchise that means the world to me. I don't know how much of this got cut off before, but I was subscribed to both Super Street and Import Tuner as a kid. I designed my very first car, a 1995 Honda Civic, around this movie. I still to this day wear Converse because Paul Walker wore and loved Converse in this film. This whole franchise is most of my childhood. And my 95 Civic, I put way more money in than was worth, and that is the way of tuning up cars. Thank you, Hold My Brick. Have a good time at work. We appreciate you. All right, look at the 2001-ness of this image. Those are DVD VCR combos with the TV in there. Look at the pure cutting-edge technology of this 18-wheeler. It's a big money load, DVD VCR combos. This is Michael McCarsell's first ever watch of this film. He is the patron saint of watch-alongs, and he's never seen Fast and the Furious. Michael, if you're a fan of Point Break, you are a fan of Fast and the Furious. Soundtrack, incredible. Also, the official beer of Fast and Furious. Oh yeah, it is so peak early 2000s. Those are all 1995 Honda Civics, by the way. I myself own one, I would know. Beautiful. Practical stunts, you gotta respect. They actually did a lot of this, especially in these early movies. They actually went for it. Hey. I watched this in Boston, and living out here and recognizing some of these streets makes me so happy. Most of this takes place in a rough neighborhood then that is now super gentrified and fancy now. Michael McCarsell, Tequila and Body Armor is the next best thing to Corona to drink and watch this movie. Those are the other sponsors of Fast and Furious. The green neon, man, all of this. Like, why would you put neon under a stunt car? I guess, I mean, obviously for the racing, but if you're gonna steal, you don't draw attention with neon. Yes! The stunt that blew everyone's mind in the theaters, and to this day it holds up as fucking awesome. Man, I miss practical car shit. John Wick's helping bring it back, but I miss practical car shit. Spidey Cat may have said hello. He knows I'm doing a watch along. Dodger Stadium, down the street. Oh, it's so cool living here, because this came out when I was 13. Changed my fucking life. Brian. I got to do press for Hobbs and Shaw, and I actually got to race cars out on the racetrack in Fontana, California. Life-altering dream come true. But I will own a Supra. I will. Apparently, Tropical Punch body armor and tequila is delicious. I respect that. It seemed concerning. I do respect it. Curtis Mason's dad is a truck driver, and somebody actually tried to drive under his truck like that. Well, I assume they didn't get far, because that is not enough clearance, and that is very dangerous decision-making. Fast and Furious, changing lives. Also, both this and the second, actually all the movies, but the first and the second soundtracks, fucking ballin'. Like, so good. Some of it ironically good, some of it sincerely good. Fucking great soundtracks. This is modern day, like, Boyle Heights, Silver Lake. When they filmed this, neither Jordana Brewster, who's now speaking, and Michelle Rodriguez, who is Dominic Toretto's lady in this film, neither of them had licenses, neither even had permits when they were filming this movie, so they had to get licensed up. Man, I miss Paul Walker. Dude was even cooler off screen than on. He did so much for people, did so much for charity, did so much for the ocean. Just good people. Very young, very intense Vin Diesel. Yes, it is important to hydrate while drinking. You gotta balance. You gotta electrolyte, depressant, the flow. I think that's definitely a Skyline Type R. That's the Jetta that comes very important later. I think the first car was an Impreza? I couldn't catch it. A Subaru. That Jetta, man, I definitely wanted the Jetta. Oh, is that like an Acura Integra? Is that a little old Tegra? That's a Nissan. That's the Jetta. I couldn't tell what the first car was. Someone that knows cars, let me know. The outfits, the tank top, thong, low pant combo was so much high school lusting. Just ridiculous cartoon wardrobe that we got away with in the early 2000s. Mostly accurate car dialogue, especially in this first one. I agree, Curtis, this song is awesome. The Watch Your Back song that only accelerates as the fight goes. Also, Michael, this is the first of 9 movies, and all of these characters cycle in and out in a beautiful way, because the second one they try to just use Brian, and they needed Vin, and then everyone ends up looping in and out. There is no... It's like comic books. That no one dies, everyone lives. Watch them all, they're incredible. Michael, it is more than just being a car guy. There's so much. It's a comic book movie with cars as superpowers. Fat Burger is delicious. It's a very, very 2001 price. That's not real. They had apparently choreographed this whole elaborate fight, and then on the day it didn't work, so they just threw down. They just like threw hands on the street and filmed it. Luigi Ferdinand except Ja Rule. He never came back. Ja Rule doesn't come back. Eminem killed Ja Rule. He's gone now. Rob Cohen shot the hell out of this. I love the intensity of these backup pans. Like, man, this is such a fun movie. It's weird being older than this cast now, because I watched this as a kid. Yes, all of them. Curtis, I don't know if Leon comes back, but it'd be a fun moment because everyone else has. Remember when stores used to look like this? Like, auto shops actually looked like this. It was awesome. Nice. Can't have that. Just for the soundtrack. So they opened up this whole sequence to people with real, like, tuned up cars in Los Angeles. So half these cars are like local actual street cars, which I love dearly. Monica! The music video sequence of every Fast and Furious movie, very important. And again, this starts at this level. Like, if you've seen all the movies, think about how quaint this is to the point where it turns into a world heist. This would be a 20-second setup scene by the time the 5th movie rolls around, much less than 8th, 9th. Hector! Ja fucking Rule. Noel G always plays this character, and he's always exceptional at it. Like Evan Almighty, I think his name was also Hector. Oh, the crew. They actually muted some of the background colors and even paid some people to repaint their houses muted colors to make the color of the cars pop. I love when movie studios are like, make this thing big. This is actually based off an article. It wasn't based off a book, wasn't based off a series. It was an article in a magazine about street race culture, and the movie was called Racer X for a while. And then a magazine article turned into one of the biggest franchises in movie history, which is insane. Car culture is fascinating. Travis, we are at the scene where he just put in the pink slip. He's offering slips. That would be a lot more now. It is quaint. But the story's so much fun. I'm so glad it starts here. I can't imagine what any of the people that worked on this would think if they saw like 7 or 8, if it like past the point of acceleration. Fast 5 is actually a retooled Brazilian Job script. The sequel to Italian Job is called The Brazilian Job, and they retooled that into Fast 5. And that's why it's a fun like heist movie, and arguably the best in the series. Chris Morgan, the writer of many of the films, a genius of quips and fun one-liners and cheese glory with heart, was obsessed with the Italian Job, retooled the sequel, made a fantastic Fast and Furious film, relaunched the franchise. These old Accords and Civics and, it started with a D, I forget what those were called. Honda Della Sol. That was a Della Sol, little 2-seater Honda Della Sol. You got a couple Eclipses in the background. That fucking Type R is so gorgeous. Nissan Skylines were illegal for years. Director cameo, Mr. Rob Cohen is the pizza guy. There's the director. I always thought that was a fun director cameo. This also came around in the early days of IMDb where like I didn't know a lot of movie details, so me knowing that was the director because of IMDb was like, I'm a cinephile. Alright, for anyone just queuing up, we are arriving on the race line now. And Brian, he's learning. In reality, it wouldn't make sense to have that much weight in the tail end of your car, but in a movie, it makes sense. And also, in street race culture, the sound system is as important as what's under the hood, so it is actually common to have race cars with dope subwoofers. That amp lighting setup is just gorgeous. Yeah, Travis, I had a Civic that I love dearly. Independent fuel system. You got to manage all the spark going into that nitrous situation, because nitrous is obviously extra explosive. But if your gas feeds into those lines or messes, this is a whole thing. $187 on Glendale. That's how you warm up for a race right here. A little. Is that Gran Turismo? I think it's Gran Turismo. I think that's PS1's Gran Turismo. This is the PS1 era. This movie's 20. There it is, the 187 on Glendale. I lived in Glendale for a while. This movie's 20 years old this year. It's fucking crazy. I too miss Pimp My Ride. Get him, Brian. What's crazy is how many mistakes he made, but his car is just so crazy. And the instincts of a decent driver, just this whole sequence. Now, this is supposed to be a quarter-mile, 10-second race. It takes about 2 minutes for this sequence. But also, 140 in 10 seconds is like very few cars. Like Bugattis can do that. He's basically driving a rocket. With the way that system's set up, that is a rocket with a steering wheel. I love the use of the rack focus with the forward push warp. Wonder where they shot this. Yeah, well, the intake manifold exploding it's not good for you. I love how like subtle and in as part of his car his is. That RX-7. Vin Diesel's driving an RX-7. I love that RX-7. Ooh. Yep, that's gambling. Also, in real life, Paul Walker became obsessed with cars and had a beautiful car collection after this. And I mean, he was in a ton of these movies. It became part of his life. Yeah, Noel G plays a character named Hector in 8 different times on IMDb. 2 of those in Fast movies. 1 of those in Bruce Almighty. He is Hector. The shared universe of Noel G. That roof scoop, I would argue, probably doesn't do much because I think all of the intake, unless the roof scoop sends air down onto the hood. Travis, you're right. Those old spoilers, man. That early 2000s spoiler setup. Every so often you still see one of these out there. It's not common. Some of the lines in this are exceptional. There's truly some remarkable life lessons to be learned from Fast and the Furious. No cap. Dead serious. And they replicate, like, some sequences in each movie get replicated. This sequence gets replicated amazingly in 2 and 5. So they actually had extra cop cars in this one and the second one because of 2 Superman movies that were supposed to start and got shut down. So this sequence got twice as big because I want to say it was the Brandon Routh Superman? There was a Superman movie that was like started and then had to stop, and they had extra cop cars. So this movie got a boost. It's not whether you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. That's what Michael McCarcel needs to understand. Man, downtown was a lot cleaner in 2001. RX-7s are dope. So that RX-7 originally had a roll cage built in, but Vin Diesel was too jacked and he wouldn't fit in the car, so they had to take the roll cage out. That man right there is fast and furious. Yeah, I think Superman Returns was the one that shut down for Too Fast to have extra cars. I don't remember. Yeah, Too Fast, the one with the other scramble I love. Go. The early proto-techno soundtrack mixed with all the hip-hop, my heart, it sings. I love that old soundtrack. I had Tenzo racing seats in my Honda Civic, but Sparcos were always on the maybe list. So the independent fuel system, Travis, means theoretically, the burnout might let him drive, but probably not this aggressively. So the car would not be running this well, but maybe running. Yeah, there's a lot of great jump stunts. They did a really good job practical in this movie. They like made cars like it's like Dukes of Hazzard style shit. Oh shit. You thought there weren't enough antagonists? We got some antagonists. Michael, he was escaping on foot because he left his car because they could track his car. So his car got parked in a garage. He was trying to blend into the city and escape on foot. It's actually a decent, logical idea if you tuck your car away. His car is pretty conspicuous. This little area downtown LA is dope. I don't know if the inside looks like this anymore, but the outside is gorgeous. Dude right here, our main villain, I always wanted this guy to play Namor for the longest time. Now I think Henry Golding would be good, or there's a few actors, but I always liked this guy for Namor. Not Snake Pants. This dude, I thought he'd be a great Namor. Territory. Also, Race Wars comes back in a real way. I've probably watched this movie upwards of 30 times because I've shown at least 20 people how great it is, and it never gets old. I'm always so happy. Oh, that poor Supra. That poor beautiful Supra. I too had a crotch rocket. After the Civic and the 3000 GT, I had Kawasaki Ninja and then Ducati Monster. So I had that as well. Before there was Uber that was walking your ass around LA. Cab. Also cabs. I was part of them, Travis. I was deeply entrenched in those wars. Scandalous. PG-13, back nudity, 13-year-old Coy-Jandreau Brewster, too fine. I love that someone's actually playing a guitar. Yeah, I love that he's actually playing a guitar for the sound. Betrayal. They all left him. One of the best lines in cinema history. It's coming. One of the best lines in cinema history. Also a great line, but not the one. Squeak, squeak, squeak. 20 years of loving this movie. 20 years. On that note, I'm going to get my next. I'm only having two. I got an early morning, but it's a 2 Corona movie minimum. So the reason I love that line so much is obviously Corona becomes an integral part of this franchise. But you can have any beer you want as long as it's Corona is a play on Henry Ford's line. You can have any color you want as long as it's black. So it's a car line. It's a product placement line. It works for the movie as Corona. It's the culture. It all works. One of my favorite lines in cinema history. Not even sarcastic. Dude, Michael, I'm so glad you're enjoying this. I fucking love this movie. Did you figure it out? New viewers? The big twist? Curtis, very essential. It's subtle. Also, that is the Baskin-Robbins house. I filmed a little tiny thing, Inherent Vice there. I was a stunt guy. You won't see me, but filmed there. Telling you, the dialogue, way better than people give credit for it. There's so many fun little corny zingers. I love that it puts the lotion on the skin guy as the cop in this. I love that actor is always a great character actor, but this is beautiful. The coffee looks bomb. I used to do stunts. A lot of the movie shirts I wear, not this one, this actually Chris Morgan gave me this, but a lot of the movie shirts I wear when I was a stunt guy. Great exposition. I buy it. I like the cross-referencing. I like the cross-drilling. Perfect. That's how you make cop drama. His voice is so specific, so good. He's got nitrous oxide in his blood and a gas tank for a brain. Fucking writing in this franchise. So, between me, you, and the internet, I'm trying to do something as an event setting up the 9th one coming out. I'm trying to set it up at a couple of studios out here using Universal if possible. I'll keep you guys posted. I would love to do a big old thing, and I'll keep you guys posted. Vin Diesel has aged very well. 20 years ago, looks very similar. It looks like he's aged like 7. Ja Rule on the soundtrack. Ja Rule in the movie. Yeah, yeah. Apex Systems. And NOS was such a thing for like 5 to 10 years after this. Like, huge. Turbos are more common now. I mean, you can obviously do both, but I don't think NOS is as big as it was. Look at the technology. Yeah, 20 years younger, better shape is a real thing. He's just a rhino of muscle now. That house be so many millions of dollars now, but like it's in the hood then. I want a barbecue backyard for me and my friends. The dream. This wins over Point Break for me just because I love car culture. I love Point Break. It was the first. It's incredible. I mean, Keanu, come on. But, like, there's so much family and heart in this. It's also a super progressive movie and a super progressive franchise before studios really started paying attention to that. Seriously, this is all I want out of friendship. All I want out of family. This. That's why this is my franchise. Most everyone's shirt is ridiculous, Michael. It's part of the art, but I agree. A fishnet tank top. A fishnet camo tank top. I don't know if I have a least favorite. Luigi Ferdinand just asked which is my least favorite. I like them all for so many different reasons. I love the noir. That is the first one that brings Vin back. I love the Tokyo Drift madness of Tokyo Drift. I like all of them, man. I know a lot of people don't like the noir one, but I think it's got merit. Five's my personal favorite. I know my fave, I just don't know my least fave. They're all B's and up for me. Oh, shit! Why don't they make these anymore? What movie is like this in the last 10 years? What family action thriller? It's like an action movie, but it's a family movie. Like, as in they're all family, like you care about the interpersonal relationships. They just don't. I'm old enough to go, they don't make them like this anymore. I also love that everyone's so pleased with themselves the whole movie. Every scene, every line of dialogue's like, yeah. Spoon engine ban. Did they make them like this ever? Only these. Only Fast and Point Break. Undercover Cops, Street Racing, Family, and Corona. Sleuthing. Dude just has the biggest selection of tank tops. Just so many. Such a badass shot. If anyone should play like the devil or a demon in something, it's this dude. That voice and presence. They could have found a better name than Race Wars. What's better than Race Wars? Oh, shit. Until I said it out loud, I didn't hear it. Well, that's something I've never thought of in 20 years. Seriously, Michael McCarthy, until I said that out loud. Never put that together. What a great breakout role for most of this cast. Like, This started Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, Vin Diesel's careers. Now that I hear it out loud, hey buddy, watch Fast and Furious. You wanna watch? Come here. Come here, you can watch. You're old enough. Lance with the crazy pants. It took me years to put together this police work and how important that was for what happens in the next act. 80s movies always had those little moments like that, and one of the reasons I love Lethal Weapon so much is it's those little character moments. That little sequence, they don't put in movies as much anymore. That little 30-second cigarette bit, that adds so much character to all four of these guys. They very badly ADR'd that line. It was something much more R-rated, I assume. Every song is perfect 2000 sounds. God, that Super's coming together. Magic dialogue. Magic. The captions just said rap. Great. It's great. It's a ridiculous stat. It's a ridiculous thing to say about a car. Like, I'm actually invested in the story. Like, there's actual moments. What about a time? That's Tao as fuck. That is legit the essence of Zen. Living your life quarter mile at a time. It's beautiful. Truly. Car culture refined to Zen. Curtis, we are now right after the quarter mile at a time speech. We're at Cha-Cha's with Brian and Jordana Brewster. Good line, Brian. And Jordana Brewster got her license so she could do this crazy scene. Oh, that Integra is gorgeous. Action percussion. Dude, Michael, I'm so glad you're vibing with this movie. This movie means the world to me. think 1999 was the best year for movies, but 2001 is a very good year for all modern movies. Like A Knight's Tale, this. There's so much greatness that came out in '01. This riot scene is still badass because it's Vin and Michelle Rodriguez boning over a car they're working on while Manson plays during the riot cops breaking into like a giant like family home. This scene's awesome. That's such a he's the bad guy, but how badass! Just screaming at SWAT that they're wrong, guns in your face, and just like. That wasn't Manson? Who is that? You're right, that wasn't Manson. I always thought it wasn't. I just plugged it in again. Who was that? Michael McCarr still thinks it was dope. Curtis, I don't think it was Rob Zombie. I know Rob Zombie's voice pretty well. I thought I knew Manson's voice pretty well, but it's not quite right. So, dope seems like the right sound. Man, I want a moat. I love this is literally the plot to Point Break, and they just remade it in such a badass way. Like, it's fantastic. Even with the surfer hair. Look at that car. Oof. My little brother came out to visit me 3 years ago, and we drove all the way up to Neptune's Net, which is like an hour and a half away, just to go to the restaurant they go to, Neptune's Net, up in deep Malibu from Hollywood. And it was like a very cool me and my bro moment. Mm. I miss 2000s music. Vin Diesel's first. Oh, is this guy crazy? Look. It was Debonair by Dope. Michael McCarsell with the knowledge. Dope confirmed. Neptune's net. Arturo, I think I would play the role of Brian. Dominic's a fun role, but I feel like Brian. I'd like the cop in the edge is my favorite archetype, and cop in the edge with cars and like all of that. It just seems like a dope part. So it's hard, but I think I'd go Brian here. Mom. Excuse you. Techno just had a different energy then. Like the techno thrum before the. I like Skrillex, don't get me wrong, but like there's something different about the energy of techno in the 2000s. Alexa with Impreza lights versus a Civic. I don't know. Man, those perfectly waxed cars, recently waxed cars with all that like inherent dust from the desert is giving me car anxiety. Yeah, Michael ruined the phrase race wars more than race wars. Oop, thank you. I don't want them to take it down. I appreciate it. I gotta turn it down more. Spidey Cat is Dominic Toretto. S2000s, man, those are fun cars. How do I turn this down? Oh, poor Jesse. Such a great performance, too. Like, this kid's great. I don't know if this is working. It seems to be working. It is working. Okay, I paused right after Rave Kid. Rave Kid was spinning, the Rave Kid thing. So right now he's walking into Mia's trailer. I'm pressing play as he walks into Mia's trailer. Apologies to people watching this later. It couldn't be helped. He's in Mia's trailer. And we're back. All right, they just took off, presumably to go do a heist. And even this scene, like, in an action silly movie, like, this just is heartbreaking. Like, you give a shit about all these characters so much because they're family. Great performance by Paul Walker. There's a reason he did so many of these movies. Brian O'Connor is so interesting. And the cars. They used maps before GPS. Maps. It's insane to think that 20 years ago, maps on hand. Not even his real name. Michael McCarcel probably didn't know. It's Brian O'Connor. I tried not to say it. It's been hard because Brian O'Connor's such a cool name. Brian O'Connor is his real name. It's an LA zip code right there. The rest is fake, but it's LA. Also, the pacing of this movie is really incredible. They juggle so many things. And like every action set piece crescendos. It's a spoiler. Yeah, it's a full ass like almost 2-hour movie, and it just flows. Coachella, not Coachella, Coachella, how I imagine it's actually pronounced. I never caught that. I've seen this movie 30 times. I've never noticed Coachella. The balance of drama, action, character moments, set pieces, world building, and they all are very solid. Like, you know, some are better than others, but they're all B's and ups in my experience. It is a 9-movie franchise that owns. Carbon fiber hoods, helmets. You can tell they're 95 Civics by the lip on the trunk, by the way. The shape of the headlights and taillights obviously essential, but the lip on the trunk, they're 95s. Curtis, his name's Rob Cohen. I know he's done a couple things, but I off the top of my head, I'm not a Schmoedown competitor for a reason, but Rob Cohen's the guy's name. The director. I mean, I wouldn't take the helmet off, but I guess seeing's important, but this is a no-win. Also, it does show that that guy's doing some stunts, which is impressive. Again, a lot of practical in this movie, a lot of actual stunts. This is such a good set piece. And CGI wasn't good enough to fake any of this. They fucking filmed this. And even though you hate him, like, you give a shit. Like, Vince is just interesting enough, you care. Oh. They had to cut a couple frames of his arm because of the blood to make this a PG-13. They fought an R rating for sexual innuendo and also the blood in the sequence. So the PG-13, they had to trim this sequence down. I'm assuming you took off the helmet for visibility. Not still the best move. There it is. There it is. I still get chills. Still. 20 years deep. It's also, yeah, Luigi, the action and the anxiety and suspense. It's also a very long action set piece, and it's so good. He thinks he's dead. Brian O'Connor, of all people, comes in. Such good stunt performers. Oh, shit. What a sequence that is. Gotta use those fishnets. In a lesser franchise, that's the last time you'd see that actor. But no, not the Fast franchise. I was in my feels, Travis. I was vibing. I love this fucking movie. Shit, the first one might be as good as the fifth one. I've always said the fifth one's my favorite, but the fifth and the first are like tied for first, I think. This movie's fucking magnificent. You don't call the cops in East LA. It's a rhino of a human. Such an honorable character. Like, the tossing of the shotgun is so much character development. Jesse! Those squibs are so dope. The practical here with the crawl, with the slow-mo. American muscle, prime Japanese engineering against two crotch rockets in East LA. A movie of my heart. And yes, Michael, they're going to space in the next one. And the trajectory to that, you got 9 movies to enjoy. I live close to this. This is so funny. Not the best shot when you shoot like this. Ooh, practical stunts. Yes. Oof. I love that the first time he uses the Charger is for vengeance. The car hasn't been on the road, and now it's getting used for vengeance. So now they're even. But what about Brian and Dominic? Because he's not going back to jail. Two very different kinds of 10-second cars. Yeah, that's true. Those aren't crotch rockets anymore. The earlier bikes were crotch rockets. Those are dirt bikes. Oh. This one might be my favorite. The stakes are just so high and tangible, and like this, out of nowhere with the practical overhead stunt. Oh, that poor beautiful car. That poor beautiful beast. That's how you end the third act of a movie like this. After all that. And this is why this movie is amazing. Family. Goddamn right. And then Vin doesn't come back for the second one. It's his movie. And it's a very different movie. And then the third one is in Tokyo with nobody until the credit scene. It's got a credit scene like a Marvel movie. Fourth one's Vin's movie. Fifth one, everyone's back. Plus, the cast has grown in 2, 3, and 4. This franchise is in crazy. And now, the theme song as sung by Ja Rule, like Will Smith used to. I love this franchise. I had a great time watching that with you guys. Man, I really enjoyed that experience. I hope everyone else at home, playing at home, did. I'm going to turn this off just to prevent noise bleed. This was Michael McCarcell's first experience. Michael McCarcell is the patron saint of watch-alongs. This was his doing, so if you enjoyed, thank